Hello! Welcome to the first video about a thing, instead of being a video about the fact that there will be videos that will be about things. So I wanted to start with something that wasn't too heavy, but that is still really relevant, especially actually on a meta level. When I went to post the video that I made for last week, I almost canceled it. I almost talked myself out of it because I said to myself, what do I know about this kind of subject? What do I have to say? Who cares about what I have to say? People are going to think that I am pretentious or obnoxious. People are going to hate my videos. People are going to hate me. That is a little extreme. And I managed to talk myself down from it, and lo and behold, my worst case scenario did not come true. People have been very kind. People have been supportive. There have been people who've been like, that's not my thing, but you do you. Valid. But nobody's attacked me. Nobody has been disappointed in me. And if I were thinking rationally, I would have known that that would be the case. Unfortunately, anxiety isn't rational. And so you can know something is true all you want, but you don't necessarily feel it's true. As I've worked with my anxiety and mood stability issues and things like that, I've had to come to terms with the fact that what I feel and what's actually happening are not necessarily the same thing. And I think that's true of everyone to some degree. Emotion colors how we react to things. For example, I'll use an extreme example of how badly I interpret things. Years ago, I applied to PhD programs in English because that was my dream since I was a little girl. But I went to a school for undergrad that didn't focus on literature or the humanities. So I applied to one of my dream schools and I got this letter. And at the time, I thought this letter said, "We don't think you're good enough to be in our PhD program, but we might lower ourselves to accept you into our master's program. And then maybe you can make it to our PhD program. But just come to our master's program. You're not good enough for the PhD program." So I didn't even reply. I didn't even say thank you. I just cried a lot. I was going through a lot at the time, and so I wasn't in a good emotional place. And so that colored the way I saw a lot of things in my life. Years later, I reopened that email because I was talking about it with a friend and I reread it and I was like, is this the same message? Because it actually didn't say any of that. It said, we'd be delighted to have you. There are some holes in your academic background because of the school you went to, not having the strong program that would prepare you. So to make sure that you can succeed in our PhD program, we recommend that you come here and take our master's program to kind of catch up, fill in those holes, and then we'll put you in the PhD program. These two things are not the same. Not remotely the same. But I could have absolutely sworn that what I initially thought was true was the case. It wasn't. It was so far from the truth, and this affected the course of my entire life. I mean, I don't know that I would have taken them up on that offer. I don't know that I would have made it through the master's program into the PhD program. I don't know what would have happened. But what I do know is that because my emotion colored my ability to see the truth, I missed an opportunity that I might have been able to take. I feel like that's a pretty extreme example. And it's really amazing to show both how much of a difference this can make in your life and also how wildly different what you see is from what is actually in front of you sometimes when you're emotional. Now I know that's something that I have a tendency toward. And maybe it's something you have a tendency toward. Maybe it's something you haven't thought about, or maybe it's something you have thought about. But regardless, I want to draw your attention to it because I suspect that it's not that uncommon. But I haven't really heard people talk about it a lot. And I mean, I like to talk, so let's talk about it. I'm not trying to gaslight you here. I'm not trying to make you doubt the validity of your feelings or your emotions or your memories or what your feelings make you think about something. Chances are, if you're upset about something, you've got a really good reason for it and you are legitimately upset about it. And I'm not saying that you should not listen to yourself when you are upset about something. What I am saying is that how upset you are might actually affect the way you respond to things and the way you interpret things. And so I think it's important to keep that in mind as a filter. All I'm saying is try to remember that sometimes emotion does things to us. Sometimes being tired does this to me. Sometimes being hangry does this to me. It's a great word. I love it. Sometimes stress will do this to me. So just try really hard to be as aware of yourself and your emotions as you can be. Try to ask yourself, what's coloring my reaction here? Not, is my reaction valid? Yes, your feelings are valid. Even if you're overreacting to something, I'd bet money, and I don't bet, but I'd bet money that there's something valid at the foundation of what you're feeling. Never feel that if you're upset about something that you are absolutely wrong and need to put those feelings in a box. And I feel compelled to say, again, I'm not a professional. I'm not giving you advice on how to live your life. If you've worked with a therapist and they've given you advice that is counter to what I'm saying here, listen to the professional. But if you have had this as a problem in your life and you maybe haven't thought about it before, or if you thought, man, I'm the only one that has this problem, what is wrong with me? You are not the only one, and there's nothing wrong with you. You're just a human being. Because the thing is, your anxiety isn't right. Your feelings are valid and they come from something. They're rooted in something real. But your anxiety is not correct. Your anxiety, as far as I can tell, is probably there to keep you alive in case there's tigers trying to run you down. Like if you think about it from like an ancient human's perspective, if you're like, man, that cave looks kind of suspicious, and you're like, oh, maybe there's tigers in there. Maybe I shouldn't go there because there's tigers. You're probably safer assuming there are tigers than that there aren't tigers. So the people whose brains tend to imagine tigers probably were more likely to not get eaten. And that's great if you're on the run from tigers, I guess. But when it comes to like day-to-day existence, that kind of survival instinct isn't really necessary. Like I tend to think there's like a survival of the most anxious when you have life or death situations. Maybe that's completely unfounded, but that's the way I rationalize it. So it's not my fault that I am that way. Thanks, ancestors, for not getting eaten by tigers. So with last week's video, when my anxiety brain was telling me that everyone was going to hate me for this and that it was going to be a terrible failure and I was going to lose people's respect and lose people's support, I tricked my brain. I didn't give myself the option to second guess myself. I cut my anxiety's ability to stop me off. In this case, it's a simple thing. I scheduled the video, I uploaded it to YouTube, so that I didn't have to push the button. So I couldn't second guess myself and talk myself out of pushing the button because I knew that if that happened, it was going to be anxiety. Because at some point in my life, I had decided that these videos were worth doing. Rather than allow myself to sabotage myself, I sneakily went behind my own anxiety's back and took precautions. And it's a little thing, and it's small stakes, but the same thing can be expanded to more important issues. Try to figure out, like, maybe what some, like what are some moments in your life that maybe you didn't see things clearly because of your emotions? And what emotions tend to take over? What do you struggle with? Do you read things in the worst possible light because you think of yourself in the worst possible light? Do you distrust other people so you tend to read their messages and hear their words as the worst possible interpretation? I know in my case, I get defensive a lot. I tend to feel that people are going to attack me because I devalue myself and I attack myself. I'm still working on that. That's the thing is I don't have the answer to anything. I'm still working on everything and I suspect I'm going to be still working on things until the day I die. But that's important. Even if you're never going to achieve perfection, you're going to get much farther than if you don't try. Because I remember that one situation with that one email, I can apply what I learned looking at that experience to other things that happen. I can know I might be doing that thing again right now. I can take precautions. Before I reply to a message, I give myself a chance to calm down and then look over again. Oh, no, this person doesn't actually hate me. That's just me. Perspective can make a huge difference. I can't promise that it will mean you never react out of anger. I can't promise that you will always see the truth objectively. There's really no way to do that. We are subjective creatures. But at least in my experience, it's been extremely worth making the effort. At least in my experience, it's avoided future problems and made me feel a lot better and more confident in my reactions to things. You don't have to hit this 100% of the time. There is no S rank on having human emotions. You just got to do your best. Yeah, let me know, I guess, what you think of this. You can be absolutely confident that my brain weasel anxiety brain is convinced that everyone's going to hate this video and that I shouldn't possibly put it on the internet. But I'm going to do it anyway. If you're seeing this video, that means that I fought my anxiety and I won. It doesn't mean it was easy, but I did it. So now it's your turn.